I'm Laura Greaves. It's really nice to have so many friendly faces in the audience. I feel a little bit like I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm always happy to stand up and chat a little bit about my store and what we have going on there. Maybe I'll start off by saying one of the philosophies that we have at the store is that each person is on their own path, their own eco-friendly path, their own green path, whatever you want to call it. So I don't expect anyone's going to come into the store, and I actually don't want anyone to come in and chat with me about how they're going to throw everything out the window and take on everything at once. They're going to completely upend their lives and have, everything's going to be eco-friendly in their house. Like, they're going to just change everything, because I think that's A, very disruptive probably to your life, and B, just really, really hard to take on. So, my philosophy on this, and again, like I said, the store's philosophy is really like, what are small incremental changes that you can make that will integrate into your life really easily and naturally, and that won't, you do it for a couple months and you find it's just too difficult to do and then you give up. So this is like about making sustainable change in your life. And I had a few kind of moments in my life, let's say, that were like sparks on this journey of mine. One of them was, so I grew up in Calgary. When I was growing up in Calgary, we didn't have recycling. We certainly didn't have pick up at your door recycling. I remember actually we used to go to the shopping center and drop the glass in like the big bins, but you really had to be kind of motivated and to do that, and most people did not do that at the time. But so we were in Calgary, but we had lots of family in Toronto, and I had one aunt in particular, and she just seemed so forward thinking to me. They had recycling already in the GTA at that time, but also she was doing composting in her backyard. And I just, in my mind, living in Alberta and visiting Ontario just seemed like the land where they had it all figured out. So of course I had to move here. But yes, so I went to university here in Ontario, so I was here for several years before I came to Sarnia. And then I met my partner Rich, and we had our first son Grady. And I would say the bigger aha moment for me was when Grady started school. So before he got even into junior kindergarten, we got this letter in the mail from the school board that said, we are instituting zero waste lunches. So anything you put in your kid's lunchbox, it has to be, like, you have to take it home with you, basically. And I remember Rich and I having this whole conversation really about what that's gonna look like and what are we gonna put in his lunch, and is this kid gonna eat it and whatever. But it was really such a great moment for us to think about not only how are we making these lunches every day, but what does that mean for our whole life, for how our kitchen looks, for how our whole house looks. And so that was such a great moment for us to really be thinking about everything. Yeah, and then skip forward a few years, I was always a customer at Great Lakes Refill, but had a COVID aha moment, as I think lots of people did, and was looking for something new. And then the old owners, Lisa and Melissa, put the store up for sale, and I thought, oh gosh, I love shopping there. I wonder what it would be like to work there every single day and go down the path of trying to buy a business, which is a little bit complicated, but in the end has worked out quite well. And so now I have about 15 months under my belt here of owning the store, and I am going to talk a little bit about the purpose of my talk really is to talk a little bit about what you can do in your life. But I always forget to actually say anything about the store, like where we're located and all of what we have in the store. So we have just a really short video. Teo, if we can go to the next slide, we'll see how this works here. Just 30 seconds, give you a very brief overview of what the store even looks like, for those of you that haven't been there. Welcome to Great Lakes Refill Company. I'm Laura Greaves, owner of Sarnia Lambton's Zero Waste Grocery Store and Refillery. Our customers have the flexibility to purchase only the amount that they need, which helps reduce waste. We have groceries, home essentials, personal care items, and sustainable goods. We're also passionate about the growth of our community and supporting local small businesses. We can't wait to see you at Great Lakes Refill and show you around the store. Perfect, so just a very brief overview of what the store is all about. From the video, maybe you saw about a third of the store is bulk refill, so if you've been to Bulk Barn, you've seen what that looks like before. All of your pantry items there, bring your own containers. Don't bring your own containers. If you've never been to the store before, don't feel like you have to bring all of your stuff with you ready to go. I would say come in, look around. We have jars that you can take. We have paper bags. So lots of options there for you. Like I said, don't think you have to upend your entire kitchen before coming into the store. This is a one step at a time thing, I would say. Okay, so that's a little bit about the store, but let's say the philosophy of the store and the reason for the store in general is to figure out how to reduce our waste. In Ontario, we each make about 850 kilograms of waste a year, and I think we all know that goes to the landfill and it sits there, and that's a lot of waste for each person. Now, there's lots of, we have to look at this as a very, very big picture. So it's not just us as the end consumer, it's also the producers. There's lots of other people, that play a part in this that can all be working to reduce the amount of waste that we create. But I just encourage you to think about what is the part that you can do. So growing up, like I said, we didn't even really have recycling in the 80s. I think in the 90s maybe we got it in Calgary. But recycling is certainly the first step on this path that I learned. Then we had the reduce, reuse, recycle, I think, at some point. The reusing, I think, maybe gets the least amount of credit in all of this, but I certainly think reusing is a really important part of this. Obviously, reducing. The newest parts, or the parts that I would say are newest to me, again, rot at the end, they're composting. Composting is really important. Not everyone has room to do that in their house, in their backyard, in their apartment, whatever your living circumstances are, but if you can, compost is a really important thing. Maybe at some point the city will figure out how to do curbside composting. I know that's kind of, all cities are supposed to be looking into that. So my hopes are that at some point that becomes a thing. And then the other thing, the very first one there, and that's maybe a really important one, is refuse. And that one can be kind of hard because you have to be a little bit planning in your, the way you're going. But I know every time you sit down at a restaurant and you order a drink, they automatically hand you a straw. And so the key, I think, is the minute they take out that straw to hand it to you, you have to say no thanks, because the minute they put it on the table, it's going to end up in the garbage. There's no question. So again, it's just trying to be a little bit mindful in your life for all of the things that you know you don't need, to refuse them like right at the very beginning. And then those things you can't refuse, can you reduce the amount? Can you reuse what you have? Can you recycle what can't be reused? And obviously anything that can be composted at end of life too. So again, these are, I think, all things we know, but what can we do to kind of integrate them into our daily lives as much as possible? Perfect. Where's our waste going? 85% of waste ends up at the landfill. Packaging accounts for nearly half of all plastic waste. So packaging is such a huge issue. And again, this goes back not just to us as the final consumers, but also to the producers, to how things come to us. I think a lot of the reason why things are packaged so well and so much plastic is obviously because they're coming on a ship from the other side of the world. So are there ways that we can buy things more locally sourced so that it doesn't have to come to us triple wrapped in all of that plastic? But again, it's up to producers to work on that as well, not just up to us, but of course we're using our dollars. The way we spend our money obviously has some impact on how people are doing things too. Okay, so a few tips here on how you can get started. Now, first up we have bring reusable bags. Obviously the government has mandated this, but really it's about being mindful when you're going to the grocery store. Do I have my bags with me? Do I have to buy another? And I know there's lots of people out there, my dad is one of them, who ends up at the grocery store without their bags and has like 1,000 of those reusable bags. So again, just like being as mindful as possible. Sorry, not to call you out. And there are ways to reuse those, obviously, and so that's good. But just to be mindful as possible about not taking more bags than we need. Avoiding plastic packaging as much as possible. The fruits and veggies are, I think, a really hard one because you end up at the grocery store and they are often double or triple wrapped. So if you can find the kind that where you bring your own bag and it's loose, and that's obviously the best, that's the least amount of packaging. What else do I have up here? For paper wrapped cuts from the deli counter or butcher, so that's something that you can do as well. Support vendors who offer compostable alternatives. So that's, I think, the best there. There's lots of good local options there as well. I shout out obviously to the farmers market where you can bring your own bags and take them home in your own bags and reuse them. So farmers market Wednesdays and Saturdays, obviously an excellent option. In the kitchen, shop in bulk wherever possible. So obviously my store, we have a lot of the pantry items in bulk, but there are other other bulk stores out there too, and I certainly encourage you to go there as well. They might have different options available than we do. Bring your own reusable jars and containers. Avoid plastic food wrapping. Beeswax food wraps can be really great. Actually, I was at a friend's house the other day, and I did not think she kind of did really anything in this vein. And I saw she had an avocado in her fridge, and it was wrapped in beeswax because she had used half of it. And I thought, oh, she didn't buy that from my store. I don't know where she got it from, but she was using a beeswax wrap, and that made me so, so happy to see. Also, lots of good silicone bags out there. Maybe a small call out here. For Earth Month, we have all of our stasher, so they're like a very nice, high quality silicone bag. They're all going to be on sale at the store this month, so that's great. Those are really wonderful. They're reusable. You can put them in the dishwasher, so they're very easy to clean. But there's really lots and lots of good reusable options out there, so not really a lot of need for you know, having to use those single-use Ziploc bags anymore. Replace garbage bags with plastic packaging. So this is the aha moment that I had in the store a little while ago. So most of our food comes packaged in plastic. It can't be recycled like through traditional recycling. So what we do at the store is we rinse it out and we hang it to dry, and then we put it in a box and it goes to TerraCycle. And TerraCycle does a very good job of repurposing all of the plastics that don't have another home. The box costs a fortune. But you kind of package it up all well, and they slice it up into little tiny pieces of plastic, and they make like park benches and pots for your plants, all kinds of different things about plastic that can't be recycled in any other way. But I'm sitting there, and you know, we're washing these bags and we're hanging them up, and I thought, oh, these bags are like pretty much the same size as the bags that I use at my house for my garbage. The little ones go in the bathroom garbages and the bigger ones in my kitchen garbage, and I thought, this is so ridiculous. So now, the bags that are the right size, they don't have holes in them, from the store, I take home and I put them in my garbage at home. And I, like, this is what it's all about, right? But it took me many, many months of being at the store before I even figured this out. But so that was kind of my aha moment, which makes me so happy now every time. We don't need to buy garbage bags at home anymore because we have all of these bags at the store. They don't have to go back to TerraCycle because I'm using them at least in some other way. So again, maybe there's something in your life that you see going on that there might be a way to do some kind of reusing. Would be wonderful, and I'd love to hear about it if you come up with something like that. Yes, replace garbage bags. Swap sponges and dishcloths for plastic brushes and plastic brushes for wooden ones. So this is like the one that we used all while my kids were growing up to wash the bottles, which can't be recycled. There's like no use for it. And these are the ones that we sell in the store, which can be composted. So like at the end of it now, if I wasn't using it for this presentation, we would have tossed it in the composter and it would slowly break down. So like this was a good one in our kitchen that we came up with a little while ago. But again, there's lots of options out there. So seeing what's available and seeing what will fit into your life. Lifestyle, water bottles. I think we all know about water bottles. Lots of different options out there. So I had, I think, 3 plastic water bottles before I came upon this one. And the plastic ones were good, but they broke eventually. So now this cannot be recycled. There's nothing that can kind of happen with this afterwards. But also, it's pretty much indestructible. I've dropped it lots and lots of times. So sometimes it's also about figuring out what is going to have the longest life. I know in the store, one of the things that we have going on in the front now is like I really love cooking, and I've really gotten into it even more now that I have the store. And so we're trying our best to find cooking utensils that will last. So, you know, Scott that I work with, he keeps joking about how last year he bought 3 whisks because he'd buy a whisk that was, you know, kind of mid-range, and he'd use it for a little while and he broke it. And like for someone to go through 3 whisks in a year sounds ridiculous to me. So we sourced a really nice high quality whisk that we hope will last him a nice long time. Is it recyclable? No. But like I said, it's, you know, the trade-off is not always about is it recyclable, but how long is it going to last, and are you going to get good use out of it? What else there? Beeswax wraps, avoid plastic bags. Oh yes, so there's compostable dog poop bags out there now. Cleaning products, so that's the other thing we have in the store. We have bulk food, but we also have a whole line of bulk cleaning supplies. Keep your Tide bottle with your, you know, that had your Tide laundry detergent in it, and bring it in and we will fill it up with our laundry detergent. So there's no, you know, shaming you for whatever container it is that you bring in. Use, you know, pick the one that you're going to use that's maybe labeled or that you're going to recognize. I know in my family, I brought home ketchup once in a jar, but no one used the ketchup because no one really thought to look for the ketchup in a jar. So then we had to find a recycled plastic ketchup container, and I just refill that one, and now everyone knows where the ketchup is. So lots of, you want to make it like work in your life for you. On the bathroom side, toothbrushes, bamboo toothbrushes are really nice. Swapping out your disposable razors for safety razors. Shampoo and conditioner, so we have liquid shampoo and conditioner that can be refilled, but we also have shampoo and conditioner bars, face bars, all kind of soap bars. Switching from those disposable cotton pads to the reusable ones that wash up really nicely and are easy to reuse. And then we have a whole line of reusable menstrual products as well. So again, I hope I've made this clear. Zero waste is really a journey, small changes that can add up to huge results. It's not about like trying to upend your whole life at once. Some quick essentials everyone should probably have: reusable bags, a reusable straw. You can get fold-up ones now that are like really tiny, can go in your pocket. Reusable coffee mug. One of the my bugbears, I guess you could say, is about going to places where you can get coffee and not being able to fill my reusable coffee cup. So I would love to be able to see at some point where all of the coffee locations in Sarnia will refill your coffee cup for you. Sometimes they say yes, they will, and then they fill it in a plastic, or in their like paper plastic cup, and then they pour it into mine, and I think, oh, that's not the point at all. But so that's kind of my own crusade that I'm on right now, is to make sure that anywhere that you go to get a coffee, you can get it put in your own mug. Reusable water bottles, bamboo toothbrushes. Actually, I've seen out there electric bamboo toothbrushes. So I'm looking at bringing those into the store, because the heads of the toothbrushes that you throw away every month or two are plastic. They can't be recycled. So wouldn't it be great if we could have bamboo heads on our electric toothbrushes? Do just as nice a job cleaning your teeth, but can be composted at the end. So hopefully I'll be able to bring those into the store not too long from now. Yeah, next slide. So again, be thoughtful about things that you're doing. Try and figure out ways that you can make changes in your life. Don't try to make them all at once. Try to be incremental, make a change, let it stay there for a couple of months. Once you feel like that's integrated in, maybe there's another change that you can make. Yeah, I think every little bit that we do counts. I know my dad said before to me, like, it can feel overwhelming, like, this one change that I make is not going to reduce my 850 kilograms of garbage a year so much. But like, changes over time really will make a difference. So don't feel overwhelmed by it. Little changes over time will make a really big difference. And I think that's all I had.
Could you stay afterwards for questions?
Yeah, for sure. I would love that.